Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Linkus7, and today I'm making a bit of a different video. Today I'm going to make a video about mashing, or basically pressing buttons fast. I get this question almost at a daily basis. Hey, I'm picking up Wind Waker. How do you zombie hover? I'm not able to press buttons quickly. Or, hey, I'm picking up X and Y game and I lose time on cutscenes. How do I skip the text faster? How do you press buttons so quickly? Because Wind Waker runners are known to have to force themselves to learn how to mash buttons really quickly, due to the fact that you have to do a glitch called zombie hovering, and if you want to do this optimally, you need to press the B button 15 times per second. So because of that, you kind of have to force yourself to learn pressing buttons quickly. And because I have a lot of experience, I picked up and first learned the zombie hover glitch back in 2013, 2014, and I've been speedrunning ever since. And I've just been kind of developing a lot of different techniques when it comes to button mashing on both a mouse, a keyboard, a controller, of course. I thought that I would make a little video just giving over some general advice and different techniques that I kind of learned and also picked up what other people have been doing over the years on how you mash faster on cutscenes and glitches or whatever, in whatever case it is that you want to learn how to mash faster. But without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so for the first example, I'm going to be using a GameCube controller, and that is just due to the convenience, and it's a very good controller, and it is heavily used in the speedrunning and gaming community, even the competitive Smash community. So I thought it's a good controller to start with. So, first off, the number one thing I see that most people do when they want to get into speedrunning or they want to do something competitively and they want to be able to mash buttons fast is they basically take their right arm and you kind of like try and get your muscle into this state where you're trying to force it so much that it kind of starts shaking, kind of like this. And obviously this can be used because if you hold over a button and then you kind of like start making your, like kind of like make your entire arm, like you basically take your bicep and you make your bicep, you try and like, like if you want to flex with your bicep, you basically start to try and flex as hard as you possibly can with your bicep or your arm. And if you do that, then obviously your hand will shake and it's going to be pressing the B button. And I'm also going to show a program later that you can see how fast you're mashing. But I would say from experience, you can probably get up about 12, 13 times per second. So you can actually get up high, you can actually get a very high amount of mashing if you do this. I usually when I used to do this, I used to hold these two fingers, like kind of like these fingers like this together. And then I kind of just mash the crap out of it. But I do not recommend this, and this is for a few reasons. Number one, it is very bad for your hands. It is not good for your hands and arms. Number two is that it gets very tiring. I mean, you're trying to flex a muscle. I mean, you're just going in the mirror and try and flex as absolutely hard as you can and keep that up for a minute, Like, that's not going to be fun. So you're gonna get really tired if you have to do this or during a lot of cutscenes, a lot of moments in the game, whatever it is, it's going to make you very tired. So I do not recommend this at all. Number two is just the fact that, like I said, it's very bad for your health when it comes to your arms and hands. Nah. You can do it for small periods of time. I actually do it for one trick in Ocarina of Time, where I want to mash both the A button and the start button. I actually hold my hand together and hold my pinky finger and my thumb out like this, and I kind of do it like that. But that is the only instance. It's one trick, and you only have to do it once. You have to do it for like 5 seconds. So that's the only instance I ever do this anymore. But obviously it's down to preference. Number two is something I call the two-thumb mashing method. This is the method I use. This is the method that I recommend the most, and this is also one of the easiest ones for your hands. So this one takes practice. I heard about this method being used by one specific runner. I asked him about it, and I tried it. I couldn't get it. And I even have like old videos about it. I tried to learn this for weeks before I actually got this down. Like, it took me days. Like, every day I spend like maybe 30 minutes just trying it over and over again. It takes patience. And you need to practice this method unless obviously you have a talent for it. But you can't know that before you try. So what this method is that basically you want to use two thumbs. So the number one thing I want to say is the main thing that most people do wrong when they want to learn this is, for example, the B button is very small, right? What they try and do is they try and put their fingers like this, and then and then try and do this. you're going to be pressing the button at the same time with both fingers. It's not going to be pressed up all the way. You see I'm hitting my fingers into each other? No, that is not the case. Even if you have a bigger button like A, and it is possible here, it's easy to like not get into sync properly and stuff. So you just have to trust, you basically have to trust this, and it takes a lot of time to get into rhythm. It's all about rhythm. So this is what I do when I mash. So you see, if I do this, you see this? The main part is you want to focus on is my right hand. As you can see when I'm holding the controller, I put my hand slightly into a grip like this, and then I kind of like put the right part of my controller on this part right here. So I put it right here, and then I put this around these 3 fingers. So as you can see, if I move my right hand up and down, it's going to move the controller up and down as well. And this is the essential part. So then you want to basically like hold it like this towards you, right? I'm doing this kind of for the camera, but it should still work. So if I go down, I press, if you see here, if I hold my thumb like in this angle here, I move my hand downwards, it presses in the button, and then when I move my hand upwards, I have to move my right hand in because I want a better grip with the controller, and then I press in the B button. So it's kind of like this, if this makes sense. This is kind of the movement you're doing, right? This is kind of it you're doing. I'm holding the controller very loosely. And as you can see, if you want to start, you can just race it and race it and race it and race it, and then you just do it faster and faster, and then you do it super fast. And all it is just that I'm basically shaking, you know, like if you just try right now, just watching this video, take up your hand like this and just start. You can see how easy it is to shake it so fast your fingers can't get up with it, you know, like it's blurry. That's basically what we're doing. Now imagine you're doing this to the controller, right? This, right? Now if you are able to move obviously if you just hold your thumb like in an angle, you can see that if you're moving your thumb, like your hand really fast down and up, it's automatically each time I'm gonna press the button down. Now the part about this that gets difficult for people is that you need to learn how to move your left hand perfectly synchronized with the right hand, so that when you move this up, because then you're not pressing the button, you need to move your left hand in. So this is the big part. If I overly show my movement, it's kind of like you move it down, I move it up, I move it down, I move it up, I move it down, I move it up. Right, left, right, left, down, up, down, up. And this is very easy. And like I said, I kind of just hold it like this, and then I start. And if I do, this is like, if I do, this is exactly how I would do it in a speedrun right here. This is the exact movement I do in a speedrun. And if I do it faster, and then obviously getting it really fast, like my record is 19 times per second with this method. There's a program, like I said, you can track this with. I'll show you later. So this, my record is 19 times per second. When I do this for every zombie hover, and it's about 14. If I do it as fast as I can, this is about 14 to 15. Now, the good thing about this is I can do a full zombie hover with 14, 15 times per second and just get slightly tired. But here's the OP thing. Because you're moving your hand, you know, like if you're just moving it like this, you know, you're not going to get too tired, right? Because you're using multiple muscles, right? You're spreading it out over multiple. It's because you can also partly move you can move your arm too if you want to, right? So, if I just do this, you'll be surprised. This right here is about 11 times per second. I can show you in the program later. This is about 12 times per second. And this is why it's so convenient. It's because this right here is actually not that demanding. You can see, the only problem is a lot of new people kind of like will hit their thumbs like this, and you just mess it up because you're hitting your thumbs. It's all about practicing this to get down to being used to moving them, synchronize your 2 hands. But if you get that down, it's really, really good. So this is what I recommend. Now, the other thing that some people do is this is something that I've seen Demon do. So let's set up so you can see my legs as well. All right, so obviously this is kind of a weird angle, but basically what Demon does is he does the same thing, but instead of moving your hand, like it's the same thing with moving your thumbs like this, but instead of moving your hand like this, you're moving your leg. Because you can see, you know, like many people have a bad habit of just kind of like moving their leg like this. Basically, if you rest your hand, you're moving it up and down, right? So if I hold my thumb like this, and I do the same thing, however, in this instance, it's a bit different. You basically hold your left hand stationary, just like this. Don't even move the left hand, because as you can see, each time I press it up, it will hit my left thumb. So every time you go down, that's when you do it. So as you can see, you can do it like this. I personally don't prefer it. My leg gets really tired. My leg gets more tired than this, like this. And it's also a lot harder. I can only get up about 11, 12 times per second doing this. While I can get up way higher with the other one. But some people prefer it like this because they get really tired with their hand. It's all down to personal preference. But that's something you can do as well, of course. And the last way I recommend is the 2 fingers. Your middle finger and your index finger. So this is something you have to get used to too, because a lot of people have an issue with it. But a lot of people use this for text smashing. So this is a very common. If you want an example, Anop does this. So if I just hold over the A button right here, as you can see, slow, slow, right? Now, what if you do, you know how, like, the idea of the other one is that your button is never not pressed down, basically, right? Like this, because you're always pressing it down when the other one is going out. Now, what if you do the same thing with these 2 fingers? So, down, and you go up, and you go down with this. Up and down, right? So, you basically want to move your hand kind of like this. Now, a lot of people have issues with this, especially on the B button or smaller buttons. If they have to do it because they hit their fingers, like the finger tops, really easily. Even I do that sometimes on the B button. But on the A button, it's really free in my opinion. The good thing about this is a method you can use for your mouse as well. So if I'm just hovering over something right here, so I don't press something bad, because you have a lot of space, on the mouse, you can just, you have so much space to just, go over all of this thing. So it's really convenient to do this. So this is another great method. I can actually do a zombie hover like this, but as I said, because the B button is so small, you will hit your fingers, you drop a lot. I don't do it for zombie hovering. I used to do it for liftoffs, but that's about it. And another convenient way of doing this is basically doing it like this. Because when I usually if I go out and get coffee during cutscenes, what I do is I hold my controller like this, and then I just kind of move them like this over the A and B button, because both can be skipped with text. So this is kind of my setup for actually skipping text on wireless controllers. When I go out to get coffee, I script the controller and I do this. So it's really convenient. But yeah, I think that is all. I think those are the main ways that I like to go over when it comes to mashing. Now, I'm going to quickly switch over, and I'm going to go over into the setup where you can actually see this program for how you mash. It requires a Nintendo Wii, and you need to have it homebrewed. So if you have homebrew channel set up, and you have an apps folder, you can add a quick app into your Wii homebrewed, and then you can actually register how much you're pressing. And it's called Zombie Hover Practice because it was made for people that are required to mash really quickly for the Wind Waker. But you can obviously do it for any practice for the A and B button. However, I think it only works with the GameCube controller. But I mean, if you play with the GameCube controller for VC or any other game, you can still practice with using this tool. And I mean, even though if it's a different controller, I mean, I got used to mashing on the GameCube controller. I can still mash perfectly on the Wii U gamepad or the Pro controller or anything. But let's switch over to the program quickly, and I'll be back in 1 second. Alright, so I have now launched the homebrew channel, so I'm going to open this software called Zombie Hover Practice and load it. Now, as you can see, it has a few instructions. It has A presses per second, B, L to reset, and start to return to homebrew channel. So if I press A right here, you can see that each time I press A, it's going to count up, and it's going to tell me how many times per second I press the A and B button. And it works for both. Of course, I can reset it by pressing the L button. Now, if I, for example, go over some method here, so if I just do this, like I said earlier, this slow, like if I just do this, as you can see, this is not much. But if I do like what I consider to be kind of like a shill method, where I just kind of move them like this, as you can see, this is really calm right now. This is really calm, and this is still 8-9 times per second. And if you see the colors right here, that's because 8 times per second in Wind Waker doesn't gain you much height. 9 just brings you up. and 10 gives you up smaller, and if you closer up to like 11 or 12, then you're green because you're actually gaining a decent amount of height. So yeah, I mean, so if I do like this, you know, the tech smashing one, as you can see, I can still get up to like 12, 13 times per second with just moving my 2 fingers. So it's still pretty good. If you want to then do the two-handed, you can, as you can see right there, 14, 15 times per second. 15 means you're doing it frame perfectly, literally, because you cannot input more B presses for the game than 30. Or sorry, than 15, because it's a 30 FPS game and it needs 1 frame to count that you're not pressing in the button. And also, of course, the leg one. You can also, like I said, do it with the muscle, where you kind of like... And as you can see, I got like 12, 13 on both right there. But like I said, it's really tiring. I don't recommend it too much. But yeah, those are the few methods I do recommend when it comes to mashing. And of course, like I said, it works with both keyboard, mouse, and controllers, depending on where you want to do it. But yeah, I hope this helped you out. If you have any questions, you can be sure to leave it in the comment section down below. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to be making another follow-up video pretty soon. So if you guys like the video, be sure to leave a like. If you haven't subscribed already, then be sure to do so. I'm going to try and upload a lot more videos on this YouTube channel. If you want to watch my speedruns live on Twitch, you can follow me over at twitch.tv/Linkus7. And without further ado, thank you guys for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later, guys. Bye-bye.